Down 2-0 against the Brooklyn Nets in their Eastern Conference semifinals matchup, the Milwaukee Bucks had a slim hope, a chance to get back into the series, but they had to start somewhere on Friday night in Game 3, and that they did. They won Game 3, 86-83 in Game 4. On Sunday afternoon, Brooklyn star player Kyrie Irving went down with an ankle injury, keeping him out for the rest of the game. And Milwaukee took full advantage, winning Game 4 and tying the series at 2 games apiece, winning the game 118-107 in Game 5 back in Brooklyn. That star player Kevin Durant played the first opening 24 minutes of the very first half. At the end of the first half, Milwaukee held a 59-43-point advantage. With his team on the verge going down 3-2 against the Bucks. In Game 6 back in Milwaukee, Kevin Durant had a triple-double for the ages as Kevin Durant scored 49 points, pulled down 17 rebounds, and dished out 10 assists. Milwaukee star player Giannis Antetokounmpo scored 34 points for the Bucks, but it was not enough. Brooklyn won Game 5, 114-108. Now that the series goes back to Milwaukee for Game 6, can Giannis Antetokounmpo and his Bucks respond on their home floor? Can they force the series back to Brooklyn for a winner-take-all, balls to the wall, critical game number 7? In the other Eastern Conference semifinals matchup between the Philadelphia 76ers and the Atlanta Hawks on Monday night, just when they thought they had the series in the bag and a chance to go up 3-1 against Atlanta, Joel Embiid missed a wide-open layup and had a chance to put up Philadelphia 102-101, but he blew the wide-open layup. Atlanta hit 2 free throws on the other end. They ended up winning the game 103-100. Game 5 back in Philadelphia, just when you thought Philadelphia and their fans thought that Game 5 was in the bag. Trae Young in Atlanta said, "Hold our beer, folks," because Trae Young scored 39 points for Atlanta. They rallied past the 76ers, 109-106. Now with their backs against the wall, can Philadelphia respond on the road in Atlanta against the red-hot Atlanta Hawks? How will the Los Angeles Clippers respond in their series against the number 1 seed in the Western Conference? Playoffs, the Utah Jazz, and the Kawhi Leonard is out indefinitely with a knee injury. In the NHL, the Islanders and Tampa Bay are tied at a game apiece. And Vegas leads their series against Montreal 1-0. Like I said, the pressure rises. The nation speaks to you. Next. Gridiron to the court, talking all that is sports. Members of the Busted Up Nation bring to you our nation's sports show. Here are your hosts, Kevin, the Statman McDonald, Ezra Vickery, and Stephen Wyand.
What is going on, everybody? We are live, and this is our nation's sports show, baby. We are here once again on another beautiful Thursday. I am Ezra Vickery taking the host duties today. Unfortunately, our man Kevin, the Statman, who has been our host past couple weeks, has been dealing with some allergic reaction issues, and he can barely talk, which is probably a good thing in our case because I'm getting tired of hearing him anyways. No, I'm kidding. We love you, Statman. But no, seriously. But we wish him well, and we hope he gets his voice back for next week. Man, we got a busy show, though. Before we introduce these two gentlemen here along with myself, we got 3 ways you can get in contact with us and follow us for the show. First way is, of course, Discord. Go to discord.gg/BustedOpenNation. You can follow us there. Join the voice channel if you want to call in. And if you have any comments, you can also leave them in the Our Nation Sports Show text channel as well. Secondly is YouTube. Of course, we want you to subscribe to YouTube, get us to 100 subscribers. You do that, we get our own custom URL. You go to youtube.com, search Our Nation Sports Show in the search bar, and watch our videos. Please like, subscribe. Any comments, criticisms, whatever you guys have, we'd love to hear from you all. And then finally, our social media. You can follow the majority of our social media at ON Sports Show. Facebook, just look us up, Our Nation Sports Show as well. Give us a follow, share our page, share any videos we might have up, because we're looking to build our fan base. And of course, the nation always comes together in these times. But enough about this spiel and enough about all that. Let's introduce our people tonight. First off, we got our buddy here, my heavy metal brother from North Kakalaki, the one, the only Stephen Wyand. Stephen, how you doing, brother?
Well, like the song says, ladies and gentlemen, let's seal the deal and let's boogie for a while. Let's go.
Absolutely, man. Coming off that Dirty Honey concert, you're on a high, brother, and I know you're ready to talk some sports. But we got to bring in our special guest, our man subbing tonight for the Stat Man. Well, his Cleveland football team may suck. He doesn't. He's one of our good friends. He's one of the best members of the Busted Open Nation. Please help us welcome Cleveland's own Sam in Cleveland. Sam, how you doing, brother?
Man, living the dream. Let's go. I'm ready.
All right, man, let's get started. Let's head straight into the NBA, and let's talk about, before we get into the scores from the last games, before we dissect that a little bit, we're going to get into some injury news and health news that just came out recently. Kawhi Leonard, unfortunately, suffered a knee injury in the last game or so, and he is currently out. Right now, it's being reported that he is currently out for the series. However, further medical tests suggest that he could be out longer. It could be a big-time hit for the Clippers. Kawhi is believed to have suffered an ACL injury. That is what is feared by the organization. Hopefully, it's not a torn ACL. Otherwise, he'll be out not only for the series, but most of next season, which is not a good thing for the Clippers and for Kawhi. The other big news is Chris Paul. It was announced the other day that Chris Paul has entered the COVID-19 health and safety program that has been governed by the NBA. Right now, it's not known if he truly has COVID or if he's suffering from COVID-related symptoms at this time. But we wish Chris Paul all the best, and hopefully he can get back on the court. He is currently out indefinitely. So I want to get this from you guys. What do you think about these illnesses and these injuries, and how do you think it's going to affect both teams going forward? We'll start off with Steven. Go ahead, Steven. Give us your spiel on this.
Yeah, well, now, as far as the Phoenix Suns situation, I mean, they wrapped up their series against Denver in 4 games, which was not a surprising factor because Phoenix is one of the best basketball teams right now, and not just the Western Conference, but the entire league. Devin Booker on that team and Chris Paul having a resurging year for Phoenix this year. He's finally found the supporting cast. I think they can get him to a championship. But unfortunately, right now, Chris Paul is dealing with this COVID-19 protocol, and hopefully he's negative. He's not positive, because we want him to be out there on the court doing his thing and making those crisp passes and all that stuff and scoring the points that he's been for Phoenix and being the leader that he is. And hopefully he can play next week, because honestly, the way this series is going, it could go the 7 games between Utah and the Clippers right now. Because, man, there's no lead is safe between these two teams. And talking about that, I mean, picking back off to that, Kawhi Leonard is the leader of this team. And when he went down with that injury in the 4th quarter with 5.5 minutes or so left to go in the game, I'm like, yeah, this is going to change the course of this playoff series, because now Paul George has to be the man, has to be the leader of the team now. And last night he had one hell of a game, scoring 37 points last night. He was hitting shots after shots from all over the floor. He couldn't even be stopped. And he knew, hey, we're going to go somewhere right now. Kawhi might be out, but now it's my turn to be the leader, like I was in Indianapolis for those Pacers teams all those years with Roy Hilbert and George Hill and all those guys. So I think I don't know, man. Like it could go either way. I mean, Utah has a chance because they had the best record in the NBA for a reason in the Western Conference, and Donovan Mitchell and Gobert and uh, Roy O'Neal and Royce O'Neal, all those guys, man, those dudes, they're good. They're good for a reason, and I think they can respond. And just hopefully the series can continue because, man, do we love Game Sevens? Yeah, I mean, it's been a wild week in sports already this week.
Yes, it has, man. And you talk about Paul George, hitting those shots when he needed to step up big time with the injuries taking place. He had a great game. He was 12 for 22 from field goal range, 37 points. Some other great box scores from this. You look at guys like Morris Senior. Morris Senior had 25. Paul George basically had a double-double. He had 37, 16, and 5.
Mm-hmm. And another guy that did great was Reggie Jackson. Man, that guy was he was dynamite from the
22 points, man.
Mm-hmm. He got red hot in that third and fourth quarter.
Yeah, 22 points on that one. We'll talk more about the Phoenix Suns game because I know you have a bone to pick about that. We'll get to that very shortly because I know you have a few things to say about the deficit that went away really quick, but we'll get to that. Sam, your thoughts on the injuries and and how's it going to affect the playoffs moving forward if it does?
Well, basically, CP3 is a winner. That's what he is. They trade him to Oklahoma City to tank, and he take these young guys, and he have a winning record. They trade to the Phoenix Suns. They were one of the worst teams last year, and then the second in the Western Conference. So he's a winner. That's what he does. If the young guys listen, he's gonna listen on and win. So if he's positive, he's gonna be out. It's gonna be a tough matchup. Doesn't matter if it's Utah or it doesn't matter if it's the Clippers because he's the core of that team. So we just hope this is negative and he come back to the team because when he had to put the show the last game, he put a show. And basically, with the Clippers, they are just a feel good story. They have talent, but if Kawhi is not there, he's the biggest scorer of the team. Like Paul George step up last night, so he can have another game like that. They probably can win the series, but without Kawhi Leonard, if he's out for the rest of the season, and Mayo of the next season too, it's gonna be tough for them to win.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with that. Because Paul's going to have to keep the momentum moving forward, and the problem is you can't rely on one player to pull forward with the team. That's the same problem I think that happened with LeBron and the Lakers. They relied on LeBron too much, and when he got injured, quote unquote injured, if you're not a LeBron fan, but if when he got injured, the team started to falter, and that's because nobody stepped up. But then when LeBron came back, all of a sudden everybody started scoring heavy. I understand sometimes that one key star player helps the other team around him with that leadership and that guidance. But when a veteran like a LeBron James, a veteran like a Chris Paul, a veteran like a Kawhi Leonard is out, the rest of the team, young, old, in between, they have to step up. Paul George did that tonight, or he did that the other night. But the question is, can he continue to do that if they make it through this series into the next? That's going to be the big question. On my front on that, Steven?
Olga.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah. Yes, I agree. I mean, just like the whole ordeal. It's you can't just rely on one guy. And I think Phoenix is that one exception because having a complete team around Chris Paul, they have other guys like Devin Booker and all those other guys that can help him out with the scoring. And you got Crowder. I mean, he's a 3-point, shooting sharpshooter threat from the 3-point line, and the defense that they have and all that stuff, and just the way they play as a complete team. And that's why Phoenix is moving on to the Western Conference Finals right now because they have, like I said, a complete team and a coach that believes in all of his players on the team.
Yeah, definitely. That team is very well put together. They got a great coaching. Just overall, they're going to be a tough team to beat throughout this entire playoff series. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that is that the Nets Good old Brooklyn, man. They came back from a 28-point deficit the other night. Milwaukee had them stomped. But what does Milwaukee do? They choked. They dropped. They fell down so quick. They fell down so quick, I don't even think LeBron could make it over the court to catch them. But
No.
I digress.
No.
No, but seriously though, it was sad to watch. Because Milwaukee has worked so hard to get to where they're at, and now they're down to series 3-2, all because they couldn't keep the momentum going. Steven, I know you had a little bit of a bone to pick with this, because with it being a team like this, very, very similar to what happened with another team that had a big deficit and blew it once again, that being, of course, the famous Atlanta Falcons New England Patriots game. So, Steven, the floor is yours.
I mean, yes. I mean, we're talking about this week. I mean, like last night, Game 5 in Philadelphia. I mean, that was a crazy game, because I actually recorded my intro early on during the day yesterday. And then I was sitting there thinking, it's about 8:30, 9 o'clock. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to sit back and probably record this now, because the game is over. And I'm glad I did, because I kept watching that box score get trimmed down and trimmed down and trimmed down and trimmed down. And boy, did it. And by the time it got to 10 points, I said, okay, let me check out this game, because I thought the game was over. I thought it was over. I'm not going to blame Joel Embiid for what happened to Philadelphia, but you have 5 starters on your obviously team and the other bench players. There was only 2 players in that second half that scored a single point for Philadelphia.
2 players.
2. Not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7. 2.
For 11 players, 2.
And Ben Simmons was 10 of 14 as far as missed free throws. He can't shoot. He can only drive to the basket, and he can only pass the ball. This guy is a credible driver. He's a credible player. He doesn't suck. He's a professional. He's better than me. He's better than Ezra. He's better than Sam. He's better than everybody out there in YouTube land watching this. The simple fact that Philadelphia is the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs this year, I'm not going to blame Embiid for the failures that they had last night. But you have Tobias Harris, who is a credible 3-point shooter. I was listening to the Philadelphia radio play-by-play call, and he was going, shoot the ball. Why aren't you shooting the ball? You're wide open. Shoot the ball. It's ridiculous. Come on. And then you're in Philadelphia. You're in front of your home fans, and they were ready to burn that place down, because, during that game when it was getting 8, 10, 8, 6, 4, I'm like, uh-oh. I smell the comeback coming right now. And boy, Trae Young was hot from the field. He was just shooting his way. And I was very impressed with that kid, because the fact that he pulled back at times, he was like, I got to reel it in, because, man, we're down and I can't shoot quickly. I got to shoot my shot when I had the wide open look. And he did, and he played smart ball. And he proved to a lot of naysayers and a lot of players around the league, y'all should have had me on the All-Star team and on the All-NBA team. 39 points that dude scored last night. The dude is a monster. In game 4 on Monday, he scored 25 points. I mean, the kid is so good. In Philadelphia last night, I cannot believe this last night. Why do you think on this show for the past 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, we've been preaching this to everybody out there, that even though Philadelphia was the top seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs this year, we don't trust them because of playoff failures like this last night. And this might be the most significant blown lead in the playoffs that I and everybody else that are sports fans have seen in quite some time. This is a huge blown lead by the 76ers. And now you're going to hot Atlanta for Game 6 on Friday night. And how coincidental, Atlanta blew their lead against the Patriots in Super Bowl 51 in 2017. And 4 years later, you have an Atlanta team, not the Falcons, but the Hawks, that caused Philadelphia to choke No, wait, I'm sorry. Philadelphia decided to choke away that game because it was their decision to put the foot off the gas. So what are you doing? Play basketball. Play team sport. Quit playing hero ball. There is 15 guys on the roster for a freaking reason. You can rotate guys in and out to play with the other star players. Joel Embiid, I'm not going to kill him last night. In game 4, I killed him a little bit because he missed a wide open layup. How did you do that? He did it. I don't know how. I don't know when. I don't know how and why he did that. But he did. It happens. Shit happens. But last night, I cannot put the blame on Mr. Embiid because it is not up to him for his entire squad to play 48 minutes of freaking team basketball. I mean, my God, this is ridiculous. I mean, this is why we don't trust Philadelphia in the big spots. Could you imagine if Brooklyn closes their series out against Milwaukee in 6? And speaking of that, we got to get to that game as well, because that was a critical game 5 as well in that series. But back to Philadelphia once again. How the hell do you have 2 players? And Sam, I know you can back up on this, and Ezra, you can too. How the hell does Philadelphia have 2 players scoring in the 4th quarter? They got outscored 23-6. The last 6 minutes and 11 seconds left of that 4th quarter. That is asinining. You're the number 1 seed for a reason. You should be able to bat against adversity and play against adversity because you are built supposedly to be a complete team. And I'm sorry, Philadelphia has some good players on that team, like Embiid, like Simmons, even though his skills are very limited because he's not a great jump shooter. And I don't think he believes in himself, but I really hope he will eventually in the offseason. You have Tobias Harris. You have all of those players on this team that I can't even think of right now because I'm so freaking hot because Philadelphia squandered a 26-point lead in that second half. I was like, man, they are killing Atlanta right now. You know, I mean, this might be the most biggest blown lead that I can think of in years since Memphis blew their lead against the Clippers in 2012, something like that. But there have been some significant playoff comebacks in the NBA's history over the years, in the finals and the conference finals and the semifinals, whatever. And this right here, honestly, might be more significant because it was a critical game 5. Because the winner that wins game 5 and goes up 3-2 usually wins these series 85-90% of the time. It's game 6 Friday night in Atlanta's building with the crowd on their side and a red-hot Trae Young, a fast-rising star in the NBA on the rising right now. So NBA, I hope that you watch this sometimes, or I hope last night you took some notes because Trae Young right now in the NBA playoffs for 2021. He is one of the best basketball players right now. And you know what? Right now, I'm not calling him Michael Jordan, but he has the MJ mentality. He wants to prove everybody wrong.
Oh, stop it.
No. Sam, what I'm saying is he has that mentality.
Controversy already.
He has that mentality that I'm gonna prove everybody wrong. The guy right now is playing his ass off. I'm not saying he's Michael Jordan. He's not. He has years and years left to go in his career, and he has to prove it from here now on. But right now, he's playing like that because he has that mentality. You didn't vote for me. You didn't put me on the All-Star game. You didn't put me on the All-Star NBA team. Well, I'm about to go out here and ball my ass off in front of y'all. So I'm again, Sam, listen, I'm not saying that he's Michael Jordan. He's not. Michael Jordan is the single greatest basketball player of all time, of our generation and generations ago. 6 NBA championships and 6 finals MVPs. But right now, this kid is playing with a chip on his shoulder. And that is the way you have to play the game of basketball. Because if you want to be making your name on the league, you got to go out there and play like this. This kid is killing it right now. And do I think can he get to that level? Maybe. I'm not saying he will. But now that the NBA and everybody that's watching you that are at home, after they got eliminated from the playoffs, they're sitting on their asses and watching you at home. Now he has the opportunity to continue this. But if he doesn't, that's on him. Now he has to work hard in the offseason, regardless whether they win or lose this series or they go on to the conference finals or the NBA finals. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll have to wait and see. But this kid, like I said, is playing balls out basketball. He's playing great.
Yeah. At least the people, whether they're at home or at the game, are actually watching the game instead of being on their phones like those at the Capitol Wrestling Center.
Oh, I'm
Digress.
so sorry about
Let's
that.
not get into that.
Fan.
This is a sports show, not a pro wrestling show.
I know, but at the same time, those people need to be paying attention when you're at the Capitol Wrestling Center for NXT Takeover. Give me a break.
That's a whole different discussion.
That's a whole new discussion. But anyway,
but this is, you're right, Steven. This was a game of two totally different halves. If you look at the box score, dude, for the first in the first half, Atlanta only had 40 points. Philadelphia had 62.
Yeah.
The second half, totally different ballgame. Like you said, it was a 26-point deficit between those two quarters. Dude, freaking 69 points for Atlanta, only 44 for freaking only 44 for Philadelphia. That is a tale of two different halves right there. And that shows that they did let off the gas and that they just basically said, go ahead, have the game.
And you know what?
Basically, it's like, here's the game on the silver platter for you. Enjoy.
And then what's funny is when Philadelphia when Atlanta got into the penalty against Philadelphia in that fourth quarter, they kept on fouling Simmons because they knew this guy's not a great free throw shooter because of his lack of a jump shot. And the majority of the time he was missing his free throws. I'm like, foul him. What are you doing? And then they fouled him a couple more times and boy, it paid off, man. And then they were up by, 3? Yeah, they were up by 3 with like 40 seconds left or whatever it was. And I'm like, oh, if Young would have hit that shot, that would have been over for sure. But they pulled it out still, 109 to 106. Man, that was just a crazy game. And Doc Rivers has been on a couple of sides of this, with coaching teams and coming back and losing big leads. I mean, of course, in 2008 for the NBA Finals that year, his Celtics defeated the Lakers after they were down 24 points in Game 4. And now he's a part of this history of Philadelphia blowing this lead, and they had to respond. And Doc is a great coach. He's won a championship. He's done a lot of great things.
He's a Hall of Famer coach.
Yep, a Hall of Fame coach, exactly. And the guy does a great job for no matter what team he goes to, except he hasn't really had the team mentality with the players, around him a lot because those Clipper teams had chances to go far, but they didn't. You can sit there and execute the game plan all you want, but the team has to go out there and orchestrate your game plan. And Philadelphia, they're the number 1 seed for a reason in the East because they are good when they're focused. But I hope for their sake that they learn something from last night, because no lead is safe in sports, not in the NBA, not in the NFL, and not in the NHL. Nothing is safe. You have to play like it's your last minute on the court, the diamond, or the field.
Absolutely. Sam?
Look, man, it's only 2 people to blame here. One is the coach. You are a Hall of Famer coach. Just being in this situation and you couldn't get your team out of the hump, that's on you.
Yep.
And Ben Simmons. Do you guys know he had most missed free throws than the whole Atlanta Hawks team? He had more missed free throws than the whole Atlanta team.
Wow.
This guy cannot shoot to save his life. He cannot save his team. He just don't care. He don't play with no passion. He don't work hard in the off season to be better. He just play like I getting a paycheck and this is what I do for a living. And I just really don't care.
Yeah.
It's like MB cannot be putting 35 points every game, and you just put in 4 points, 6 points. And first, the game 1, he shoot the ball 3 times, and he had 4 points. So if this guy, when you came to the league as a number 1 pick, you were like, "Oh, this guy's gonna be a star." This guy, and you're right, Steven. He's better than all of us together. But you are a professional basketball player. You need to pick up the slack when your team is lacking.
Exactly.
Because you are number 1 pick, you are a star. And you just want to be the fresh prince and just be like in Hollywood. Right now, it's crunch time. You have to go, go, go. And he just played like, I'm going to miss. I don't care.
Right.
So what Atlanta did, we're going to foul you because you're going to keep missing because you're not trying to win. You're just trying to play ball and whatever happened, whatever happened. So for me, the coach and the French priest, whatever he wanna call himself, that's of them because Embiid did whatever he could. And Seth Curry he's a bench player, to be honest. He shouldn't be like in a starter team. He have a really good shooter percentage, but at the same time, it's like those are the only two guys that score points yesterday. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, him and Curry were the only players that could score points in that fourth quarter. And you know what? If I'm Philadelphia, I would have Curry start Game 6 because you need a spark to light that team under fire, and to put a fire under their ass. And I think Philadelphia needs that because Curry, man, he's a Curry for a reason because those Curry brothers know how to shoot their lights out in the gym.
They can shoot.
Absolutely, I agree. It's there needs to be some adjustments made. I mean, with Ben Simmons not producing, and he's supposed to be this highly touted, like you said, highly touted player, number one pick, one of the greatest all time. You have a performance like that just
Rookie of the year
for the whole year period, that just eliminates your credibility. That just proves that you're a quote unquote, I won't say he's a bust, but he's getting pretty close.
You're right.
To me, I agree. Seth Curry needs to start Game 6. There is no, without a shadow of a doubt. He like I said, he was only one of the two people who scored in that fourth quarter, which is already embarrassing enough. But at least he's showing that he can produce. That's the thing. If you're just sitting there on your hands, and then when you call up, you're like, okay, whatever. I'm gonna stand over here. And you're not gonna do anything. Then what the fuck are you on the court for? You're doing nothing. You're wasting space. You're not contributing. You're not playing defense. You're not, doing pick and rolls. You're not making plays happen. That's where the coach needs to step in. He needs to make these decisions. He needs to change the starting lineup. He needs to put Seth in there, and he needs to drop Ben Simmons because Ben Simmons, to me, he is not a true starter. He's not. And with the performances all season long, and especially in these critical playoff moments, no chance.
And he was, in my opinion, the best defender player in the league this year. And you couldn't stop Trae Young, not even a little bit. He was raining all over you guys. It's come on, man. Like, put some heart on it, put some passion, show that you care. Because what I saw yesterday, you do not care about this basketball team. You're just playing for playing.
Absolutely. I agree 1,000%. We're going to move forward now into the Brooklyn game from the other day. Final score on that was 114-108, Brooklyn taking it to Milwaukee, forcing, of course, the Game 5 now. Brooklyn up in the series 3-2. A couple of quick stats. Giannis Antetokounmpo had 34 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, and 2 block shots, but he also had 4 turnovers. He was the highest scorer of the game. Kyle Middleton had 25 points, and Drew Holiday had 19. Connaughton had 10. But the star of the entire night, Kevin Durant, with a history-making performance.
Woo, yes, sir.
49 points, 17 rebounds, and 10 assists.
Yes.
The highest scoring triple-double I remember seeing over my time watching basketball.
Same here. Oh, my God. Dude, I was at the Dirty Honey concert in Johnson City, Tennessee on Tuesday, and I'm sitting there going, I wonder how this game is going. And then I get on Zoom, and I'm talking to you guys about the game, and you guys gave me the stats, and I'm like, holy crap. And then I watched the highlights. I'm like, this dude said, screw y'all. I'm putting everybody on my back, and we're going to win this game, whether, no matter how much it takes. And that was another game that could have went a whole nother direction because Milwaukee, like I said in the intro, they were up 59-43. They were killing Brooklyn. Brooklyn couldn't score. That's why they had to have Durant play in the first 24 minutes. Now, when Game 6 happens in Milwaukee tonight, they have to show up. Not just Durant doing what he does, because you can't just rely on the one superstar. Now, fortunately, Kevin Durant is a guy that can put a team on his back because he has that killer instinct mentality that he can turn it on when he wants to. And I know everybody said that in 2017, when he was with Golden State and they were facing Cleveland, and Paul Pierce said he was the best basketball player of all time in this generation of crop of players. I said, no, he's crazy. But if you told me 2-2, we're in a dire situation, and I had to shoot my way into a series, yeah, damn Skippy. It's Kevin Durant all the way. That dude is a baller. Man, that guy can shoot. He's very long and lanky. He can really shoot, man. And, man, I'm telling you, if he plays the way he played Tuesday night, tonight in Milwaukee, and he can silence the critics in the NBA and across the sports landscape, man, he's going to send Milwaukee home once again and go to another conference finals, this time in the Eastern Conference with Brooklyn. And honestly, let's just say if Philadelphia does tie this series and they go and they win the series in 7 against Atlanta, I still don't trust Philadelphia against Brooklyn, no matter how banged up Brooklyn may be, because Philadelphia, like you said, Sam, Ben Simmons was the number 1 pick for a reason. The guy is a hell of a player. And you're right. Right now, he doesn't have the mentality to be an even better player, because that's why LeBron became a better player over the years, whether we like him or not, because LeBron got a driving game to the basket when he was with Miami years ago in 2011. After they lost to the Dallas Mavericks in that finals, LeBron said, you know what? I got to get better at my driving game, because if I can drive to the basket and do all of that stuff, then my jump shot might show up, because when they look for the drive, he has the jump shot to back it up when it's hot. Ben Simmons can drive his ass off to the basket, but he doesn't have a credible jump shot because he doesn't believe in himself. And I wish he would, because the guy, when he is hot, he is amazing. And again, like you said, Sam, Embiid is a guy that cannot score 35 plus points a night every night. He has to have Tobias Harris. He has to have all of those guys helping him out. And like Brooklyn, man, Tuesday night, that game was wild. I mean, just Durant with the way he played, and Giannis had a hell of a game too, 34 points. But Giannis has to have the rest of the team around him corral with him and play hard team basketball, because with those guys struggling from the field, you can't just look to your star player. You have to have a complete team obviously playing around you. Sam, what are your thoughts on this with that game on Tuesday?
Durant is a bad man. He played 48 minutes. And I'm telling you, I'm not the biggest fan of Kevin Durant. I'm from Cleveland. I'm a LeBron guy all day, every day. But like this guy, I was watching that game. I was like, you cannot stop him. He is legit. You cannot stop him. He is so long and he can shoot in your face. Because I remember the finals against Cleveland. He just killed Cleveland because nobody could stop him. When he's healthy, you cannot stop that guy. He played the whole game. And he just, you know what, guys? Without you or with you, I'm going to win this game for the team. And he did. Like, and with Milwaukee, like, Middleton is not a number 2. Nobody can tell me he's a number 2. He's not. He's a 3 at best. So basically, like, the whole thing, I guess, like, of the Nets, just they play together and they say, just get the ball to Kevin Durant. And when people just like cover him, just he was passing the ball as well. And he was just like there, like banging on with everybody, taking the rebounds. 17. When was the last time he take like more than 10 rebounds in a game? Because he's a shooter. So man, like he's a bad man. I love that game. I couldn't. It's like and he played the whole game, all 48 minutes. So like I if he can put the same game today, I don't see how nobody's gonna beat them this year. Because like Harden play like what, like 5-10 minutes, something like that.
Yes.
And even with the ankle, so if they are healthy, man, if they come back healthy, even like one of them come back, Harden come back, nobody's stopping that team. They are too talented.
Absolutely. That team was built to be talented. I mean, they brought in a lot of great star players. They brought in the James Hardens of the world. They had put the right pieces together and they made it work. They're a cohesive unit. And while this cohesive unit is kind of a little bit broken with Harden out and with other players out, I think once this series is over and we start to see these players return, I agree, Sam. They're going to be a team that is going to be practically unstoppable because they're just playing at an elite level that I don't think any team in any conference outside of the Phoenix Suns are playing at right now. And it's insane to think about. You know, a lot of people, even Steven, thought this was a team that was built to win a championship. And while it may seem that way, they're showing that they have the cohesiveness. They're able to work together. They're not just all there star players all just trying to be the big star on the team. They know their roles. They know exactly where they need to be and where to shoot, when to shoot, when to pass the ball. They're not hogging all the spotlight. Kevin only had that big game because he had to make up a little bit for some of the other team members maybe not producing as much as the others, but he still had a history-making game. He's still one of the best players in the entire league, period, and one of the best players that I've seen since watching basketball since 96, 97. And so I just don't see Brooklyn being stopped, especially if they get everybody back together. But the only obstacle in the way, if it gets to the NBA Finals, will be the Phoenix Suns.
Man, I tell you what, just like like we're saying, man, if they can get Kyrie back healthy, man, and Harden back to somewhat, stable as far as being, the player that we know he can be, dude, nobody can stop these guys. If that's a sign that Durant played 48 minutes Tuesday night and didn't sit down because he knew that his team needed him. He put the team on his back for a reason because he knew I have to do this. I have to score for our team. And I'm telling you, man, if they get far, I wouldn't be surprised. But the biggest obstacle, like you said, Ezra, is the Phoenix Suns. Because to me, right now, they are the most complete team in the NBA this season right now.
I agree. The Phoenix Suns that's a team. They playing together. They playing with all the fundamentals of the game, and that's why they win in the way they did. And even in the regular season, they were number 2 seed for a reason because they are playing as a team. Well, like you say, if these people come back together, Kyrie Irving is the best finisher in the ring that I ever seen. This guy, when he go to the ring, you cannot stop him. And it's basically like I don't know, even with the Phoenix Suns being so good, if they can stop this thing. And to be honest, I picked the Milwaukee to come out of the East. That was my favorite because I said like they are healthy. They are the healthier team. But like I just like basically like this is like talent beat that because Brooklyn is talented and he was like, geez, I cannot believe Durant is just like it's a bad man. He just put this thing in the back and I just speechless to be honest.
Definitely. Before we move on to the next discussion point, a couple quick news stories in the world of basketball that have been coming in over the past couple days. First off, here it was announced that the Mavericks head coach Rick Carlisle has stepped down after 13 seasons with Dallas. He was one of the linchpins in the organization to help finally get them a championship in 2011. So he leaves behind outside of that one title, he does leave behind a pretty stellar career with the team. So good luck in your retirement there, Carlisle.
Hell of a coach.
Hell of a coach, absolutely. Harden, it's been told that Harden is available for Game 6. Okay. He is available. Irving is out.
Yeah,
that was the latest injury report. Okay. Another quick note before we move on is that none of LaMelo Ball, he has won the 2020 2021 Kia NBA Rookie of the Year.
Interesting.
Yes, he received 84 first-place votes and earned 465 total points from a global panel of 99 sports writers and broadcasters. So right behind him was Timberwolves guard Anthony Edwards, who finished second with 309, and then followed behind him was Tyrese Halliburton from the Sacramento Kings, who had third place.
Player.
With 114 points. So those are some quick notes right there for the NBA. Any of you guys got any more points you want to make for our NBA discussion?
I think we are in the clear for that tonight.
All right, Sam, you good?
I'm good.
All right, let's move on to the NHL. Let's move on to some hockey, folks. And man, we got ourselves a big game tonight, don't we, Steven? We got ourselves game 3 of the Tampa Bay New York Islanders series, which is going to be an interesting one coming up. Last night we also got the Montreal Canadiens Vegas Golden Knights series going on, which of course last night the Canadiens won 3-2 last night to tie the series up at a game apiece. Tampa Bay Lightning also tied up at a game apiece with the Islanders. Tonight's game will be 8 p.m. Eastern, of course, on USA and other different stations around the United States. Steven, your thoughts on this round of the playoffs so far? I know we're only 2 games deep, but what are your thoughts on this series so far?
Man, this series could go either way because Montreal is a team we cannot count out, because whether they've been down in the other series that they've been in, man, they came back and they're here for a reason. There's a saying that we like to be using in sports called the cardiac cats, and right now we can call them the cardiac Canadians, because right now they're playing hero hockey and they're playing as a team, and Vegas might have all the big spotlight on him with it being in Vegas. Oh, baby, Vegas. Yeah, all that jazz. But you cannot count out this Canadian team. Montreal is a team that is here for a reason. And if Vegas screws around some more, maybe they're going to be down in this series. And I'm calling a hot take right now. I think Montreal takes one of the next few games in game 3 or game 4.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. The Canadiens have been playing red hot ever since the last series, but when they eliminated Toronto. But to me, the team that's been the shocking team this year has been the Vegas Golden Knights. To me, the Vegas Golden Knights, I would see them as more the underdog team than anything, because nobody expected that team to make it as far as they did. But man, they have some great star players. They've got great goaltending. They just had a bad night the other night, is what it is. Price for the Canadiens had 29 saves in that game, with only I believe it is 1 goal allowed. So 2 goals allowed, but still a great performance from Price. But I think that this series is going to be a very competitive one. So I think both teams are going to be out to prove something. It's been a while. It's been a long time since we had a Canadian team in the Stanley Cup playoffs, let alone get the Stanley Cup title. Who knows how long it's been since that's happened. And so they're looking to make history. But Vegas Golden Knights are a newer team, and they're looking to show that we may be the quote-unquote newer kids on the block, but you ain't going to push us around and you ain't going to stomp us. We're going to come in there. We're going to put our hearts on our sleeve and come in there and kick ass all the way through until we can't no more. So I think it's going to be a hell of a series. You're right about Montreal possibly taking the next game within the series, maybe I would say game 4 or 5. I think they're going to take. I think that Vegas is going to take this one because I think they're going to be hungry after this loss. I don't think, because the series is tied now, I think it's going to give Vegas more momentum to say, hey, I'm going to push forward and I'm going to win this next game to hopefully put it in their favor. Sam, what are your thoughts on the Canadiens Vegas Golden Knights series?
I agree with you about the Vegas. Like, I didn't thought they were allowed to go this far this year. Well, Montreal, man, they are a tricky team. But like, it's like basically, I don't know. Like I'm with Steven here. I agree with Steven. Montreal is gonna sneak out. I believe they're gonna win the series. And it's like, and the other side, Tampa Bay, they're always good. So I believe it's gonna be Montreal and Tampa Bay this year.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's I think just Montreal being a team that has previous success in
Yeah,
these types of situations and previous success getting to that point. I think they're just going to be that a team that takes that experience to the next level, and it's going to be hard. Vegas being a newer team who has never experienced the deep, deep territory of the playoffs, which you know from teams in the past. If you have not been to this point, it's a lot harder to move forward because there's going to be jitters, there's going to be nervousness, and especially when they run into adversity, such as being down a certain number of goals or having injuries. If you're a team that doesn't know how to handle that type of pressure in the playoffs, it's going to be really harder to advance. So I think that with Montreal having experience, I think they're going to take that, and that's going to be the key to them moving forward into the playoffs.
yeah, they're
Steven?
they're the be-
Oh, no, go ahead. Sorry, Sam. Go ahead, buddy.
no. It's really like like you said, they had experience. They are the veteran team, so they're gonna be the nail in the road for everybody. So you have to go to Montreal. In my opinion, for what I've seen so far, I not really follow in hockey, but like I like to follow when it's the final stages, the playoff, the timing. So basically, like for what I see and the experience they have, they're gonna be the nail in the road for anybody who wanna go and get the cup.
Absolutely. Steven, any more thoughts on the this series between the
Yeah, same,
Canadians?
yeah. Just to echo off what Sam is saying, I'm not a huge hockey fan myself as far as a diehard fan, but I agree with Sam that the best time to watch hockey is the playoffs, man, because those playoff series can get very tense, very tense. Man, there's nothing like playoff hockey. It is the best. So no matter how long this series goes, I'm along for the ride like the rest of us are. Man, this
You're
is gonna
right.
be good. This is gonna be good.
Absolutely. I'm a huge Blackhawks fan. Grew up Blackhawks fan all my life, and watching those Stanley Cup finals with whether it be with Philly, Boston, it
Boston
doesn't.
Brewers, man.
Dude, that series was amazing. The Philly series was just incredible. It was, those are some of the best games that I've ever watched. And I love playoff hockey. I love playoff hockey. I love playoff baseball. Anytime the playoffs are happening in sports, that is the best time to watch because that's when they're the most competitive. That's when they're the most motivated. It's a different animal compared to regular season playoffs. We see it all the time with teams. We've seen it with Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFL. They turned it up during the postseason. Look what happened. They're NFL champions. And this is the same thing I could see with Montreal. They could turn it up. It's going to be hard for Vegas to come back. But the next series I want to get into is, of course, the Tampa Bay Lightning series here. Tampa Bay and the New York Islanders. Tampa Bay won the second game on Tuesday, 4-2, while Islanders took the first game 2-1 back on Sunday. This has been a super competitive series. The Islanders are the team that kind of shocks me in this one because another team I didn't really expect to go as far as they did, and they're doing a hell of a job. That team, I think, is the right chemistry. It has the right players being in the right spots. The goaltending is great. Everything is making sense. But to me, this is another veteran versus kind of, I won't say newcomer
Yep.
because the Islanders are a team that's been around for decades. But when it comes to this type of pressure, and especially in this new era of hockey, it's different. Tampa Bay has been to the playoffs. They've been deep in the playoffs before. We've seen it as hockey fans. I think Tampa Bay is going to take the series. I think they're going to take, I'm going to go 6 games. I think they're going to take it 4-2. That's just my opinion on that. It could go game 7. I'm not saying the Islanders are going to give up too quick, But I think Tampa Bay, once they get the ball rolling, I think it's going to be hard to stop.
New York is done. They won the first game. That's it. It's over. The number that I want you to see is what you say 2-1, 4-2. That's the best they can do in this series. It's 2 points. That's it. So if they cannot go over that hump, score 3-4, they're not winning another game because Tampa Bay light it up when they have to. Like you say, that's an experienced team. They always good, even when they don't go far in the playoff. But like in my opinion, the Islanders are done. They enjoyed the game. Game 1, they win it. Congratulations to them, but I believe it's over. I don't think it's going to 6 games.
Very good take, Steven.
Yes, I agree as far as the series. I mean, New York has had a good season this year, but there's that huge but when you have a team like Tampa Bay. Because I was listening to Danielle McCartan's show on The Fan this past Saturday. She does a great job, by the way. She's a great host on her show, and she does a phenomenal job. But she had she did this segment on her show Saturday called Beatboxing, and she had a Tampa Bay Lightning guy and a New York Islanders guy, and they both were talking about both of their teams that they represent, obviously. And I think that Tampa Bay has the better team because they had the better goalie. And you have to have a goalie that can stop the other team from scoring. And that is the problem that the Islanders had. They're one of those teams that we have a saying in sports that our fans that we know this, and we both know this, and a lot of other fans know this saying, bend but don't break. But unfortunately, I think the Islanders are going to break because Tampa Bay has a better all-around team, and they have better defense, better scoring from all their players. And I just think that New York, I think they're very outnumbered right now, especially with their goalie. I'm very concerned about him because I don't think he's going to have a consistent stretch of stopping Tampa Bay because Tampa Bay is on a mission to do it again.
Yeah, I agree. Tampa Bay is just on another level right now, and I feel like that New York Islanders are just going to, like you said, bend but don't break. They're going to break, and it's going to be, he says 5 games. I say 6 games. Steven, what do you see?
6.
6? I can definitely pull for that on that front, but I expect both series to be super competitive. It's a fun time right now to be a hockey fan, sports fan in general, to watch these playoffs. So I'm definitely excited for what's to come coming up over the next couple of weeks with the NHL playoffs. Do you guys have any more points on this NHL discussion?
I think we're good.
All right, we're going to actually take a quick break from the normal 4 sports, and we're going to go into my favorite thing, MMA, UFC. Yes, there has been some developments. And there has been some developments recently, including some news today about some fight card changes. There was supposed to be a huge showdown between former UFC featherweight champion Max Holloway, one of the greatest fighters out there today, taking on Yair Rodriguez. But unfortunately, Max Holloway suffered an injury in training, and that fight has been pushed back now. So the fight with Rodriguez will now be moved to a later date. The date is undetermined at this time. It was supposed to happen at UFC on ESPN 26 on July 17th. Yeah, so that's a huge big fight that's unfortunately been moved due to injury. Another big note for the MMA world, and this is kind of a mix of MMA and boxing, is Triller has announced for September a boxing match between Vitor Belfort, one of the best UFC heavyweights and light heavyweights of all time, taking on boxing legend Oscar De La Hoya.
Oh.
Yep, De La Hoya putting on the gloves once again for the first time in a long time as he takes on one of the baddest Brazilian fighters in the entire MMA world. But this is a boxing match, which of course I talked about this on last week's show. This is something that I've said many times. There is a difference between, if you're an MMA fighter that's got excellent boxing skills. If you're a Nate or a Nick Diaz and you're going to the boxing world and you want to do a matchup with a De La Hoya or a Mayweather or somebody like that, it's going to be more of an entertaining fight because they actually have boxing experience. Where you're going to throw in a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt or a kickboxer or a karate guy, and the thing is, they can't control. One thing they got to control is their reflexes. They got to control the reflexes because they can't throw kicks, knees, elbows. They can't take nobody to the ground. Also, if you don't have good you can have boxing. You can box as much as you want in the gym. But if you don't have boxing experience, if you don't have that elite level of boxing technique like the Diaz brothers have or like other fighters do, you're not going to last long in a matchup against the pro boxer. And don't get me wrong, Oscar De La Hoya, he's been out of the ring for a long, long time. But he's still one of the greatest boxers of all time. He's still a legend.
Oh, stop it.
An entrepreneur. When I was growing up, De La Hoya was the name that was thrown around a lot. Same thing with Tyson. Same thing with freaking Holyfield, Foreman, and many others that I grew up watching. De La Hoya to me was the guy, even though my dad didn't like him that much.
Me neither. I don't like him at all. I want him to get his ass knocked out to the ground.
Trust me. I think a lot of us do, but this is kind of a mismatch. It's a mismatch because while I say Vitor Belfort is a great fighter, he is no doubt one of the best light heavyweights to have ever laced up or put on a pair of gloves. That's not without a shadow of a doubt. He's a great knockout artist. He can do what he wants, but this is a whole different ball game. This is a whole different animal he's stepping into. And De La Hoya is a great boxer. While he's not an elite level like a Mayweather, like a Tyson, a Foreman, a Lennox Lewis, while he's not on that elite level, he's still great. And his name is out there more often. You got to think, we see at least one De La Hoya name tweet at least once a year about something he's doing. At least he's keeping his profile out there, and I think that's what he's doing so that way he isn't forgotten. Why he wants to do this instead of actually training and getting back into a real 10-round fight is beyond me. Why? But then again, Triller's probably paying him a shit ton of money to do this. Like they've been pouring cash out of their ass for every other fight that's been out there under their name. But I respect his choice, and we'll see what happens in September. We'll see if the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu MMA guy can take out the boxing Hall of Famer. We'll see. What's your thoughts on it? Sam, I know you're pretty poignant about when I mentioned De La Hoya, so floor is yours, good sir.
No, but like you're right. You're 100% right. The boxing game is totally different to MMA. If you are not a brawler or you are not a boxer, it's gonna be hard for you to take a professional boxer out. And De La Hoya is a professional all the way to being. I don't like him, but like you say, his name was there. He was called the Golden Boy for a reason.
Absolutely.
And he's a professional. He trained great fighters. And even when this guy, you can train all you want, but it's like you say, you are knowing a boxing ring with a boxer, it's gonna be a long day for you in the office. If you don't have that fit game with your torso and your feet, it's gonna be a long day for you.
Yeah, I agree, because one of the big qualities in that is the footwork. And with these MMA fighters, their footwork includes throwing kicks, knees, and other unorthodox strikes. Those are reflexes that a fighter like Vitor Belfort, like Anderson Silva, even Anderson Silva is going to be fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. coming up. That is the thing that Anderson's going to have to control too. Well, you can't throw elbows in a boxing ring. You can't throw kicks in a boxing ring. You can't throw knee strikes. You can't clinch.
Stay down, nothing.
Nothing. You're basically stripped down to bare metal when it comes to this. He's gonna have to learn, and Vitor's gonna have to learn to practice to take that footwork to the next level. And they're gonna have to focus on straight punching. It's gonna be tough for them to control those reflexes and really focus on one aspect when they're usually focused on 5, 6, 7 different aspects at the exact same time. So we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. I mean, I'm not gonna say that De La Hoya is gonna fucking run him out of the gym because Vitor might surprise us. Who knows? We don't know how long he's been training in boxing. He's been out of the UFC world for a long, long time. We haven't seen him in years. So who knows? Steven?
Oh man, I mean, I want to say that Vitor and Anderson are going to have success, being with them being trained fighters, but like you guys are saying, I 110% agree. MMA and boxing, it might be combat sports, but it's two completely different sports. And unfortunately, I think that maybe in a way it's going to get to these guys, because I mean, when you're boxing with guys, especially with De La Hoya, I mean, my God, I mean, the guy is one of the best pound for pound professional boxers in the world. And the guy is so skilled. And I just don't think that he's going to have enough gas in the tank to hang with him. Now, he might be, a little bit younger than Oscar, but at the same time, De La Hoya is a professional boxer. Vitor is not. He's an MMA fighter. And it's going to be a very unique contrast of styles. So hopefully it'll be good. Hopefully it'll be competitive. But I think Oscar's going to win the fight.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. One other quick note, if I can find it real quick, is that there's been some rumors going around that the next fight will be an upcoming fight will be possibly signed between Leon Edwards, the man who defeated Nate Diaz by decision the other night. He is looking to take on Jorge Masvidal, man, current owner of the UFC's BMF title. Jorge Masvidal. You remember Jorge because he was. I'm not sure if he remembers much of that fight because he was sleeping on the canvas in his last fight, but I digress. But this should be an interesting fight. I know Leon's got a great striking game, great takedown defense. Jorge Masvidal is a great striker, but his takedowns are extremely good. So it's going to be a contrast of styles of fights, but I can see this going either way. Reminder, the fight hasn't been signed yet. There's no date, no nothing. This is just what's being thrown out there right now in the circles of MMA. So that's where that pretty much lies as far as that. Really no other big MMA news. So I'm going to stop right there and I'm going to head into a little bit of a score update, if you don't mind, Steven.
Sure. And then after that, I want to talk about the fight from this past Saturday at that pay-per-view. Woo!
Sure thing. Actually, do you want to talk about that first?
Sure. Especially the Diaz and Edwards.
Leon
right?
Edwards.
Edwards, yeah.
Yeah.
Woo. That was a good fight.
Go ahead, Steven. The floor is yours.
That lived up to the hype, man. Woo. Man, when Nate Diaz came out to that ring, man, or to the octagon, that entire audience lost their freaking minds, man. He's one of the baddest MMA fighters on the planet. He knows what he's doing. He talks all that shit, but he backs it up. And Leon Edwards, man, he held his own against the veteran, man. And it was a great fight. And then, man, I was like, okay, Edwards has got it in the bag. He's got Nate. I mean, he's looking pretty well. It's a great fight, all around great fight. But in that fifth round, and then in that fifth round, whew, man, Diaz said, I got one more left in me. And he said, bam, shot with the left hand out of nowhere, rocked Edwards. I'm like, oh shit. Here it is. He's fixing to finish him off, and then boom, saved by the bell. Man, that was a phenomenal fight. I mean, just tremendous respect by both guys, and they put on a hell of a show, hell of a fight. And that card this past Saturday was really good. I really thought it was a great pay-per-view.
I thought it was too. Overall strong card, man. Israel Adesanya retained his belt against Marvin Vettori, and what was an awesome 5-round fight. But of course, Adesanya had that fight from the get-go. That dude is just absolutely unstoppable.
And also, how about that flyweight title fight? Whew, that was awesome.
Brandon Moreno, man, that dude is no joke.
Ooh, and he's the firstborn Mexican.
Well, actually, it was Tevesen Figueiredo who won the fight. Excuse me there, but he's the one who won the championship. Or no, it was Brandon Moreno. My fault.
Moreno, he won the title. Man, that
Yep.
dude, he was so full of emotion. He almost had me crying. I'm like, my God, I've never watched this guy fight in my life. But that kid, man, he is talented, man. Like, man, when Rogan was in the octagon interviewing him, I'm like, man, this kid gets it. He's a star on the rising for the MMA world. This kid is all heart. And man, when he won that title, man, he was crying. He was full of emotions. He was so happy to be there. And he overcame a lot, obviously throughout his career, the ups and downs and stuff. And look where he's at now. He is the first born Mexican MMA fighter to win a UFC world title. Man, that he is going to be doing great things for the world of MMA.
Absolutely. Sam?
No, man, Ismael, the baddest man in the planet, in my opinion. That guy is like, he just reminded me of Bon Jones when he was in his prime. This guy is a beast. And like Nate Diaz is over as his over can be in MMA. And man, I thought he was about to get it. But I was watching at the clock. It's like, God damn, Saved by the Bell. Like
Yep.
he had 20 more seconds, he would have taken out. And it was a great card. Top to bottom, like you say, I love the whole card. I love MMA. I enjoy MMA so much. And I used to hate MMA. I thought it was so violent. Like, oh my God, how people like can do this. But like when you understand the sport and you get into it, I love watching MMA.
Same here. I love MMA. I've loved it for years, dating back to the original Ultimate Fighter with Forrest Griffin and Stephen Bonner,
Oh,
which
yes.
was the thing that really brought me into the MMA world. Even though I was a fan of Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz,
Liddell.
Randy Couture, Rich Franklin, all those guys, Pat Miletich, and freaking what's his name, Frank Trigg, so many other great fighters. But Matt Hughes, of course. One of the fights that surprised me was the decision win by Bilal Muhammad over Damian Maia.
Mm-hmm.
Me being a fan of MMA for as long as I've watched a lot of Damian Maia fights, and to me, Bilal Muhammad had the perfect game plan to combat Damian Maia, because Damian Maia, to me, is the best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter since Royce Gracie. That dude is so damn good. He is a wizard in that ring. You know how people call Zack Sabre Jr. the technical wizard in WWE or in pro wrestling? They call Damian Maia the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu wizard because he is unfreaking believable. I expected him to take him down to the ground and control those fights, but man, Belal Muhammad had the right game plan. He was able to stifle a lot of his takedowns, and it made sense. It was a good fight, and Muhammad deserved that win. But I really, really thought Damian was going to pull out that fight, just because of how good he is as a BJJ black belt in this business. Since we get any more on MMA from you, Steven?
I think we are good.
All right, brother. Sam, you good, brother?
I'm good.
All right, I'm gonna hit up ESPN real quick, and we are gonna get into a quick little score update. So that way we can get on to the next topic, which we're gonna get into probably is going to be none other than Major League Baseball. So let's hit up the scores here. Right now, of course, we got the 2 games tonight, which will be starting here shortly. Brooklyn and Milwaukee, which will be starting in 15 minutes on ESPN, and then a game that should start here shortly. Puck drop: Tampa Bay and New York Islanders. Otherwise, in Major League Baseball, right now the New York Yankees lead Toronto. Bottom of the third, 3-0. The Cubs are beating the Mets right now, 2-0 in the top of the fourth. St. Louis and Atlanta are knotted up at the bottom of the fourth. White Sox and Houston are currently 0-0 in the middle of the first. Final games today: Cleveland Indians beat Baltimore Orioles 10-3. San Francisco beat Arizona 10-3 today. The San Francisco Giants. The the Padres today beat Cincinnati Reds. That game is tonight at 7:40 p.m. Central, 8:40 Eastern. Also at 8:40 Eastern is Milwaukee Brewers and Colorado Rockies. And at 9:38 Eastern, Detroit and the LA Angels. And at 10:10 Eastern will be Tampa Bay Rays and the Seattle Mariners. So those are quick score updates from ESPN. Should be some great games tonight all around. I'm excited. But let's move on to our next thing, which has been we're going to get into some Major League Baseball here. These past couple weeks have been super competitive in Major League Baseball, but we're going to get into some MLB. If there's any big MLB news, Steven, do you have anything MLB related that you want to talk about right now?
It's just this whole thing. We were talking about that whole, the what was it? The tactics they were using to extra, grip on the ball and all that stuff. And that still irks me to this very day. We should be talking about everything that's going on the field that's positive in baseball. Instead, we're talking about this, and it's so annoying. I mean, it still gets to me to this very day. I mean, it's just, wake up, baseball, wake up, clean it up.
Yeah, we've been saying that for a long, long, long time, that baseball needs to clean up their act and that they're not doing themselves any favors by allowing players to use that tax stuff that they're using to control the spin rate on baseballs. It's been something that needs to be cleaned up immediately. Well, the Mets, here's a little report. The Mets got some good news today for Jacob deGrom, who is currently was dealing with some shoulder issues, but good news is he will not be out as long as he said he would. As far as that goes, we hope Jacob deGrom gets back out there as quick as possible. He's one of the best pitchers in the league, right, Steven?
Well, yeah, he's great. He's a video game character. This guy is just good. So MRI was like negative, so he's gonna be back in the field pretty soon.
I mean, to talk about the injury, with the Mets, I mean, that's a huge blow to their team. I mean, he's been playing lights out. I mean, had a great game going, and then boom, shoulder injury. It's terrible. It's terrible. And hopefully he'll get back on the field and help out the Mets because, man, again, we keep on saying this. They're having a better year than those Yankees. Sorry, but not sorry, because the Mets have had not a lot of great luck over the years. And the Yankees have had all those years of being successful. Now it's time for a brand new team in New York to have success. And I think deGrom can bring that to the Mets.
Screw the Yankees. I hate the Yankees.
Oh, and there goes Ezra.
We lost Ezra. He'll be back.
He'll be back. But Sam, what are your thoughts on the on the cheating tactics that these baseball players have been using over the last couple of weeks? With using those.
Look,
it's stupid.
Baseball is my first love. Always will be. Why? It just it's embarrassing. Like this been going on for years, and basically. We shouldn't even be talking about this. They just have to clean up their act. Like baseball is being great this year, and this is just like another blow for baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why they cannot get it right. It's and the pitchers team there is okay. Like you want me to play like all this game, like this is okay to use? No, it's not. You cheat in the game.
Right. Why use any tactics? I'm not going to count steroids because there he is. Back then, players were using steroids because it was up to them, and that's my honest opinion. But when you start using other tactics, that are really cheating, like having the nice firm grip on the ball and the bat, all that, crap. It makes no sense. Makes absolutely no sense. If you want to use roids, fine, knock your socks off. I don't care. But if you're using other tactics, I still can't get over that because that was a huge discussion on last week's show. I mean, it was very, very opening when that topic came out. And Cole goes, "Oh, I didn't cheat." Bullshit. Yes, you did.
You did.
You did.
They got him in there. Yeah, it was Garrett Cole who they were talking about, who was using that spider tack, as it was called.
Spider tactics.
Yeah, the spider tack is used to help control a pitcher's spin rate, which is something that has been, of course, something that drives our good old stat man insane to the point of
wanting to lose his mind. Yes.
Basically, he's just, that's something that irks him, and that's why I bring it up every other show, because I love that it pisses him off. But sorry, and apologies that my computer froze, so that's what happened there for a brief second. But like I said,
hey, your computer froze like Philadelphia did in the fourth quarter last night. Oops.
Why?
Hey, at least I didn't leave six. Hey, at least I didn't leave 6 minutes before the show ended like LeBron James did in the last game.
This is true.
Man.
This is true.
He was hurt.
True.
Back to the quick Jacob deGrom story. Now that my computer's back up and my internet actually fucking works. The Mets revealed that there was no official diagnosis for deGrom, but they said that his prognosis was good. So that means hopefully he won't miss an extended amount of time as far as that goes. As far as the injury goes, and the Mets definitely need deGrom. I know that even though they've been winning some very good games recently, the Mets still need that star pitcher that deGrom is.
Yes,
and we know how good he is. I mean, but there's been a couple big quick news reports. Couple big things here. Wander Franco, he's extended his hitting streak to 14 games, and drived in 2 in today's game. Wander Franco, man, that dude, I've been reading up about him recently, and he's fucking good. So I'm excited to see just how far how far the hitting streak can go. See if he can keep up the great work on that front. Really, there hasn't been too much news in the world of baseball. It's actually been quiet outside of the games that are currently on right now. I'm definitely excited for the White Sox game tonight. My White Sox still in first place in our division, AL Central.
We are second. We're coming.
We're second now.
We're coming.
Keep wishing there. We'll see, Indian boy. Let's just hope your team does better than the let's just hope your team does better than the other team you have. What do they call it? The Browns?
We're coming too.
Hold on, wait. Don't worry. They'll do better than the Cowboys, that's for sure. Sorry.
Yeah. Yep.
I usually have to take one shot at the Dallas Cowboys per show.
Yes.
Then again, it's a better shot than Cam going to the New York Giants.
Yes, this is true.
I would say pretty much that's at the end of the baseball talk, but let's get into some NFL discussion. There's been a few things that come out, including once again Neil Magny doubling down again on the fact that Andy Dalton will be the starter for the Bears this season.
Okay, Mr. Ezra, the floor is yours. What do you think about that? That's your thing.
Where do I begin? Me being a Bears fan, I've dealt with disappointment for the past since 2006. I've dealt with disappointment. I've dealt with Jay Cutler. I've dealt with Kyle Orton. I've dealt with Trubisky. But I mean, don't get me wrong. Andy Dalton is a tried and tested player. He's seen a lot of great moments and great games, but he is not the quarterback of the future for Chicago. To me, I would give him maybe 2 games. If he fucks up, take his ass out, put in Justin Fields. To me, that's the pick that shocked the absolute living hell out of me during the draft. I couldn't believe the Bears traded up and got him. And to me, I think he's going to be a better quarterback overall that's going to fit the Bears mold than Andy Dalton is. I understand why they want to put him out there because he's a veteran, because he's been there, done that, but besides a championship title win, but that's a whole different discussion. But to me, I'm a little irked by that. Why? I don't understand it. This guy, he's not done well at all for his previous team, Cincinnati Bengals. Why would you put him as a starter? Why? Give Justin Fields some good. Give Justin Fields some reps. Get him out there. Don't just get him out there for the 2 plays during the fucking preseason. Give me a fucking break. Give the guy some actual play time. I think he could do better than Andy Dalton could, personally. I don't know why they're doubling down. I get some of their points, but it drives me bad. It does. And this is the first ever rant you've heard from me on this show. My head hurts.
It makes no
head
sense.
Hurts contemplating this. Why?
Makes no sense. I mean, I know Andy Dalton is a veteran, as they say, in the locker room for these teams, all the sports, NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, whatever. But Andy Dalton has not had a lot of success over the years for a reason, because he's never had a complete team around him. Or wait, he's actually had some pretty good teams, except he hasn't shown up sometimes in the playoffs when it matters the most, against San Diego before they moved to Los Angeles, against the San Diego Chargers. He threw away that game. Like, nice going, Andy Dalton, because you had a great year with the Bengals for once in your life, and then he threw it away. I cannot trust Andy Dalton to do magical things for the Chicago Bears, because he doesn't have a marvelous career like a lot of these players do, like a Patrick Mahomes already does, like the great Drew Brees did throughout his entire career, like Tom Brady, who continues to pile on championships, even though he's 43, whatever the hell years old he is. He's 43, 42, whatever. It doesn't matter. But either way, Brady, all the years he continues to play and be successful. I mean, give this guy a chance, because I'm telling you, Andy Dalton, Chicago, is not the answer to your football team. He will never be the answer to Chicago, because we know what kind of a player he is. When he was with Dallas, when Dak was injured, he was not the answer for the Dallas Cowboys. He was the best possible answer to be there, because they had no other quarterback on that team that could play half a shit. But Andy Dalton is not the answer for Chicago, and we know this. That is not a opinion. That is a freaking spoiler. He is not the answer for the Bears team. And I'm telling you, just like Philadelphia 76ers fans last night, when that fan threw the bottle on the court, like, getting pissed off because the team had one job and they blew the freaking game. It's ridiculous. The fact that they think that Andy, the Red Rifle, he's the answer for Chicago, but Buzz, he doesn't have great numbers. Well, screw it. He's the answer. You know why? Because he's got moxie. Well, Buzz, you have Justin Fields, right? He's the quarterback. No, he's not. Not because I own the team, damn it. But Buzz, he has better numbers than Dalton did in college. I don't give a damn. He's not the answer for my team, damn it. I own Chicago. Ha, ha, ha. You're not going to have this quarterback on your team unless he proves it to me. But Boss, he's better. Fuck it. He's not playing. Okay, Boss, it's your team. Yeah, damn right, it's my team. Get it together, Chicago. Get it together. Andy Dalton is not the answer to your team. We're going to keep saying this crap until we're blue in the freaking face. This makes no sense. Why are you giving this guy starting reps as the quarterback for your team when he hasn't done jack shit in years? Give me a break. Sam, I'm done as well with this rant. What are your thoughts on this crap show?
Before Sam gets to it, I just want to say, for those who don't know what Steven may be doing just a second ago, if you listen to Busted Open Radio, well, of course, no free ads, but if you listen to the show, freaking Bully Ray does this impression of Vince McMahon and the WWE Stooge. So if you go to the show, if you listen to the show, go back and listen to it. You'll hear what he's doing. It's fucking hilarious.
It's hilarious. When Bully started doing that, I was like, this is golden.
Absolutely. Sam, your thoughts on the Bears sticking with Andy Dalton as a starter for the season?
I'm gonna say only this. To Chicago is gonna happen the same thing that happened to Cleveland. Baker Mayfield is not a starter. Tyrod Taylor is a starter. He messed up game 3. Baker Mayfield came, and Taylor never saw the field again. San Diego Chargers. Taylor is the starter, not Herbert. Taylor get hurt, and you see what Justin Herbert did the whole year. He lighted up. I don't understand why you draft this good ass player and he's not gonna be a star. You need a spark in that team. You have me. If you win game with Mr. Trubisky, God bless his soul. He comes from the school that is 15 minutes away from my house. I saw Mr. Trubisky plays in high school. He's a bum. If you win game with him and you can go to the playoff with Mr. Trubisky, Justin Fields is a way better quarterback than Mr. Trubisky is. Andy Dalton is your backup. I don't understand. I just don't get it. Why coaches keep doing the same thing over and over? Like Patrick Mahomes. Why Alex Smith had to play over Patrick Mahomes? Kane's second year, MVP. I just don't get it. These coaches keep doing this every year. He's not a starter. He's not a starter. Make him compete. Make Andy Dalton win the competition for Justin Fields. Not making the starter without competing yet. But my thing is like, if you make quarterback compete, that means that you don't have a quarterback. But the same thing is like, Justin Fields is better. Andy Dalton never even won a playoff game, even when he was going to the playoff with the Cincinnati Bengals. He was one and done. Justin Fields is a better quarterback. No, Andy Dalton gonna start for us without competing. And you will see that's gonna happen. He's gonna lose 2-3 games, or Justin Fields coming to the field, and then it's those 3 games that you cannot recover because you didn't want to start Justin Fields. And Managi is in the hot chair right now, so he's the GM. So if they do a stupid decision, then they'll make it to the playoff, because Detroit is not good. And basically, like, you can win that division with the dysfunction that is around your division right now. You don't even know if Aaron Rodgers is going to play.
Yeah.
If you make a bad decision about this, and you can lose your job, Matt Nagy. So like, that's on you. You making the decision. I don't understand why coaches keep doing this year after year after year, and then they play the quarterback that they drafted. Oh yeah, he's better than the guy that we have in the first place.
It doesn't make any sense, man, because like Steven was just saying, it is true. Justin Fields had better numbers in college than Andy Dalton did. He is an overall better quarterback. But why are you going with a guy who is a one and done, a guy who barely squeaks by every year? For Cincinnati, we were lucky. He was lucky he was even around that long. The dude is not that good of a quarterback. I've seen so many Cincinnati Bengals games over the years where Andy Dalton has gone in there and he has shit the bed, where he has gone in there and he has failed. It's mind-blowing to think that the Bears would put him as a starter instead of this young, promising kid. And not only that, like you said, they didn't even compete for the starting job.
No.
There was no competition. Oh, Andy Dalton's in. Justin Fields, you sit on the bench until we call you.
No.
Why? Because he's a draft pick? Give me a break.
Look at this. All honesty, we all hate the Cowboys, right? Who have a better offensive weapons, the Cowboys or the Bears? Cowboys have better wide receivers.
Yes.
Cowboys have better running backs.
Yes.
And Andy Dalton didn't do anything with that.
No.
So what makes you think that he can do Cohen is coming back. They have this great wide receiver, the Bears. But if Andy Dalton don't do anything with the 3 great wide receivers that he
He
has
can't
with the
play the
Cowboys,
receiver.
and you have Sick as your running back, yeah, he have a down year, but he's sick for God's sake. You couldn't do it, and your offensive line wasn't that bad, but it wasn't great. If you couldn't do anything with that, what made the Bears think that he can do anything with the Bears team? He cannot run. He cannot escape the blitz. He cannot escape, and Justin Field can give you that security. It's 3-2. Justin Field can get you that down without throwing the ball. Andy Dalton cannot. So I don't understand. I just don't get it. I honestly. And honestly, I know a football player. I don't know the ins and out. I know a coach, but it's been proven year after year that these coaches keep making the same mistakes. And in the middle of the season, they have to play the rookie quarterback. They do better than the guy that they start playing first.
It's irritating to me to see this whole situation go down. I'm at a loss for what the Bears are doing in this and it's I don't know. I just hope that the Bears can, hopefully the Bears, when they see this shit, when they see that this is the wrong decision, hopefully it won't be too late. But then again,
Exactly.
That's the way a lot of coaches are. The coaches, GMs, they don't see this until it's too late, until they don't make it to the playoffs, until they're too far behind in the season to make it up. They see, oh, well, he sucks. Let's throw in the other guy that we didn't bother to give a chance to compete for the starting job. That we just said, oh, if he gets injured, we'll call you in. You'll take reps whenever. Give me a fucking break.
If you told me that Justin Field is your 3rd round pick, yeah. But Justin Field was a winner in college.
He is the number 20 draft pick in the 1st round.
He was number 12 because they trade out.
Yeah, 12 because he traded up. Yeah. But
and as you remember, when the draft was coming on, was Lawrence and then was Justin Fields. And things just switch and change between the stuff. But I believe after Trevor Lawrence is Justin Fields. We don't have tape for they just fall in love with the quarterback that they pick. They were just in love with that guy. As you remember, the draft was in Cleveland. And I have all these people going to my restaurant, Alan Sheffer, the guy from ESPN, they were going to and I asked this question, why Justin Fields is not in the same conversation as the 2nd guy pick? And they were they just are in love with this quarterback. They are just in love. I forgot the name of the pick of the Jets. But and then San Francisco 49ers is I don't know. They pick this guy. They play 8 games in college. So I don't get it. It's you trade down to pick up this guy and you're just gonna put it in your bench and just pray for the best for Andy Dalton to save your team.
Real quick, Sam, I think you're talking about Trey Lance for San Francisco.
Yeah, Trey Lance played
Trey Lance.
what?
That's what I was thinking of too. I just wasn't sure.
It was Trey Lance. Yep.
Okay, thanks,
and
Steven.
who they just pick? I forgot the name. Zach Wilson. No, Zach Wilson. No. Oh my God. What was the guy that they picked? The Jets.
Zach Wilson, right?
Zach Wilson. I say right. Okay, Zach Wilson. But when I was talking with people from ESPN, when they were going to, it's they are in love with this guy.
Yeah,
it's just they're not picking nobody else. They just fell in love with that. Trey Lance for San Francisco, he played what, 12 games in college?
Yes.
It's not enough tape from him, but he have a cannon as an arm. Great, showing a game. But it's Justin Field was the conversation. It was Trevor Lawrence, and then it was Justin Field, as you remember, before that, and then team switched it. But I just don't get. You trade down to pick up Justin Fields, and you're gonna put in. I just don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple other quick reports in the NFL. I want to actually bring it to you, Sam, because mini camps have officially started in certain teams, and you guys have a new addition to your lineup, Jadeveon Clowney, who was with the Texans for a while. They said he had They said that him and Odell Beckham Jr. had a great first week. What are
Yep.
your thoughts on the Cleveland Browns? Because I want to give you ample opportunity to talk about your team. What are your thoughts on the Cleveland Browns this upcoming season, especially with the new additions to their lineups and just the overall kind of viewpoint of what you see as a fan coming up this season for your team?
Look, Cleveland Indians have the Browns. They have a big issue, secondary, and they got out there the best safety available and one of the best safety in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And they solved that problem, and they made the defensive line better. It's not because I'm from Cleveland. The Cleveland Browns gonna be a problem. They have the best offensive line in football, or the second best offensive line of football. Now you're giving Baker Mayfield time to throw the ball. The defense is going to improve. You have two second-round picks and a first-round pick for Johnson III as a safety, and you add Javion Clowney. There is a great running back defensive end. Like, he stopped the run. And you have Miles Garrett, one of the best in the business. And Odell Beckham is back. Like, I understand the chemistry between Odell Beckham and Baker Mayfield is not there yet. But, like, they didn't start working out till late last year. I think this is the year of Odell Beckham. He don't get injured again. But the Cleveland Browns, and they had the best, in my opinion, the best duo running back in the league too, between Chubb and Kareem Hunt. The Cleveland Browns are gonna be a problem. They have mini camps now, they have OTAs now, they have all this training now together. It's no virtual like last year. And then the second year we have Stefanski as a coach. The Cleveland Browns are gonna be a problem. And they have this the last weekend they have the Jarvis Landry like all-star game, and Travis Kelce was in town. I don't know if you guys know that, but Kelce from Kansas City, he's from Cleveland. And he was here for the game, and he said, like, man, like, to be honest, like, we were talking, like, when we got together as a team, we were talking in Kansas City. It's like, this is the thing that we have to look out for in the championship game, because I know, he was like, I know Kansas City is going to be there. Like, we are just good, but, like, Coach Reese said, like, man, Cleveland just upgrade their weaknesses, and they're going to be a problem. So I believe the thing is going to be better than last year.
Absolutely. Cleveland Browns have made some great additions. Like you said, they solved their safety problem. They got great overall running backs, tight ends, everything. To me, they have all the tools to make a great run this season. And, you know, I always give people – we joke and we give shit about the Cleveland Browns, but they've made steady improvements over the past –
They were awful. They were awful. The Cleveland Browns were the Detroit Lions too. They were awful, but they trying to get better. They have people now that can run the team.
No,
the question is, we know the Baker Mayfield can play.
Yeah.
The question is, can he take you over one game in the playoff? Yeah, you beat the Steelers, you beat one game, you went to Kansas City, and you could beat Kansas, but you just couldn't stop like a backup quarterback in 4-2. Come on, because the linebackers were awful. That's something that they upgrade too. They got good linebackers now too. They upgrade that defense, so it's like the weaknesses that make the best part of the team right now. So, can Baker Mayfield tell the team beyond just one playoff game? Can Baker Mayfield beat Baltimore Ravens? He showed that he can beat the Steelers. He showed that he can beat the Bengals. Now, can he beat Lamar Jackson in the Ravens? That's the next question too.
Absolutely. There's a lot of questions surrounding Baker Mayfield, but it's a question of the questions are valid. Can he take them past one game in the playoffs? Can he deal with the pressure of those next upcoming rounds? Is he able to put, with those tools now in place, is he able to build that foundation that is going to push them forward deeper into the playoffs? Those are all valid questions. And he's got the potential. That's not a problem. It's a matter of him putting it all together. That's with any player that's got an outstanding offensive, defensive core, special teams core, which Cleveland Browns have been building and getting better each and every year, and it's showing. And to me, I have Cleveland Browns are a team that if I was in their division, I would be not shaking my boots per se, but I would be looking at my rearview mirror and I would be seeing them in the background because I'm not going to doubt them for a single damn second. While Kansas City may be the dominators in that respective division, Cleveland has got all the tools to make it work and possibly even make a big splash by defeating that team. The question of the playoffs, that's a whole different discussion for later on in the year. As far as now, they have everything. They just got to put it together and make the right moves when it counts.
One of the best things that happened to Cleveland this year, believe it or not, is like the first game that they're having is against Kansas City. So first game, you're gonna prove, can you hang with them, yes or no? Because they're gonna have all the players back. It's Baker Mayfield versus Patrick Mahomes. And the team is gonna be complete. Both teams gonna be 100% healthy. Can you guys hang out with Kansas City? Even if they lose, it's like, can you hang out with them? With Patrick Mahomes healthy and all his weapons. Because they are great offensive line too. So like he's gonna be protected, Patrick Mahomes. Can you hang out with them? That's gonna be the question. First game, out the bat.
Absolutely. Steven?
Yes, I mean, like when you look at this whole situation, with Baker Mayfield, I mean, Mayfield last season had a great season for Cleveland, and do I think can he keep it up? Absolutely, because I think that he learned very well last year the fact that hey, I got to be out there and be a leader for my football team, and with Clowney being a great addition to this team for Cleveland on the defense side of the ball. I think that Cleveland this year is going to make some noise this year. I think they can go pretty far this year, but they have to start early this year. They can't be a little inconsistent like they were at times last year because they eventually got to the playoffs last year, but it took them a lot of work to get to those 10 wins, their first winning season since 2007. And it's I think Cleveland, has a lot of optimistic, things to look forward to with the upcoming season in the fall. And I think that with the additions that they've had to their team, especially with the way they did in the draft, I mean, they performed phenomenal in the draft this year. And Cleveland, I think, has a lot of good things they got going for them this year. So I think they can do it. So we shall see.
Yep. Absolutely. Couple quick more NFL news before we decide, close out the show, right, Steven? We don't have anything else on the docket that you want to discuss?
I think we're good.
All right. Well, one little quick NFL thing, and this is, of course, the continuation of the Aaron Rodgers saga as it continues to build. And this is a report last week. James Jones, who plays with Aaron on Green Bay, said that he is confident that he will show up for training camp. However, Jay Glazer, as we know from Fox Sports and Fox NFL Sunday, he was on the Pat McAfee show recently, and he said this, and I quote, "I know he still wants out without a doubt, absolutely." But the Packers have come out and announced and said that they have immediately shut down any and all trade offers again for Aaron Rodgers. So this continues to build, and it's going to be interesting to see when and if Aaron Rodgers does show up for training camp or not. Sam, this is a discussion we've had a couple weeks ago that I know you didn't get to be a part of. I want to get your opinion on the whole Aaron Rodgers fiasco and the whole idea of him either being traded or him retiring or leaving the team. Or what are your thoughts on it?
Before saying that, when people from the Packers call Aaron Rodgers, he just declined the phone call. He's not even taking their phone calls. He say, "I'm not coming back." He told teammates, "I'm not coming back." When the voluntary OTAs were there, neither of his offensive players show up either. That's a message. But they say it can be fixed. It's only one way this can be fixed. Fire the GM. That's all he wants. He don't want the GM there. He's prickly, he's complicated. That's who he is.
Mhm.
But he is a superstar. If you want to keep it, get rid of the GM. And I understand that Green Bay put the foot down, they don't fire the GM. But like it's basically like what this show me is one thing. Jordan Love cannot play. If you are so concerned about like, oh my God, he need to come back, that means that your Jordan Love guy cannot play. That you make a mistake when you pick Jordan Love in the first round 2 years ago. Because in 2 years, if your quarterback cannot play, that division is dysfunctional. It's not great. If you have somebody that at least can play, you can probably win the division. But like that show me he cannot play because they, like you say, reports, they shut down all conversation about trading him. But like at the same time, if I Aaron Rodgers, I looking like if I don't show up, I have to give a $35 million. And I don't think he wanna lose $35 million.
No, I don't think so either.
So
Definitely
like
not.
he will probably show up, but he's gonna be all year when talking to the press. I want out after this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Steven, your
I have
thoughts?
I have been on the Aaron Rodgers seek and destroy wagon that these last several weeks, and I will continue to be the leader of the seek and destroy Aaron Rodgers wagon because if this guy does not do his job and show up to the team that needs him, because he is the true definition of an MVP caliber player, they need you, Rodgers. So if you would be a good freaking neighbor to your entire team of Green Bay and quit being a little diva right now, you will be better off being a contributor to your football team instead of being a whiny baby. I'm not going to show up. I want to be traded. Shut up. Play football. Show up and be what you were last year. And that was the MVP. Give me a freaking break, you baby. Come on.
No, I ain't Aaron Rodgers bandwagon, and I don't like Aaron Rodgers. I'm a Tom Brady diehard fan.
Oh my God.
Like,
I mean,
but Steven, when was the last time that they draft an offensive player in the first round?
dude, I can't even remember. I cannot remember at all. I mean,
like I understand he's the player, GMs made the decision, coaches made the decision.
Yeah.
But like he wanna be involved. You pick a running back last year in the second round, they have no chance to be playing. You wasting draft picks. And you got Devante Adams in a flyer. And he was awful. You remember Devante Adams was awful when he begins. And he just became a superstar.
yeah.
And what else does he have? He had Jones as a running back, but he's not a power back. He's not that great. He's a good running back, but he's not great. And he is still your MVP. And you come back again and
I mean, Jones is a solid running back for Green Bay, but he's not the best running back in the NFL. He's solid.
No, yeah. For the team, he's good. And he's really good. He's way more than good. But like this guy asking like, come on, man, just give me more. I'm your MVP and I only had Devante Adams, Jones, and sometimes like a flyer. And it's just like, and the defensive line is the all line is good. But it's like, give me more. Like I don't understand.
What more
like,
do you want them to do, Rodgers? Give me a break. Do you want him to get Donald Driver out of retirement, or to get Jordy Nelson out of retirement, or get Greg Jennings, God forbid, to come back to Green Bay? Give me a break, Rodgers. You're a great quarterback. If Tom Brady can make Joe Schmo from the street a good wide receiver, then you can't do Aaron Rodgers. Give me a break.
But look at this. Tampa Bay bring everybody back.
Yes.
Every single player.
Yes.
And you tell me that the Green Bay Packers couldn't even bring the center back?
Yes.
They went to the Chargers.
They're losing everybody.
Center back.
They're losing everybody.
Anything. They cannot even get free agents.
They can't. And you know why? Because you got a diva quarterback on your team like Rodgers.
Well, Steven,
He's a superstar.
And
a
Steven,
superstar baby is what he is.
Hey, and here's the thing. I agree on both sides of the fence. I do. I agree that Aaron Rodgers, yes, he is a bit of a diva. But then when you make as much money as he does, when you're the superstar that he is, you have, unfortunately, that type of personality does come with the territory. That's unfortunate. True, you see that in basketball players. You see that in hockey players. You see that in baseball players.
Yes.
You see that all the time. You get these guys who, they understand they're that damn good. They're Super Bowl champions or World Series champions. They know they can make money. They want to be involved in decision making, and I completely get that. And if the GM is making piss poor decisions, like with the Jordan Love situation, and not even considering, hey, why don't we ask our star quarterback, our franchise quarterback, the guy who helped propel our team in a sense to that championship?
Right.
If you can't even get a second opinion, you're just making decisions without consulting even one member of your team.
Right.
Then what's the point? That's the thing I agree with you. Aaron Rodgers can be a bit of I won't say a diva, but he can be a bit of a big-headed person, and I get that. But that comes with the territory of being such a great player. But also, the GM has not made great decisions at all.
Right,
he needs to be held accountable for his actions.
But then again,
don't consult a great player like Aaron Rodgers. Let's say Bill Belichick didn't consult Tom Brady on the picks that he made, and it ended up being a similar situation. And Tom Brady got pissed because Belichick didn't consult him on a wide receiver that Tom Brady may have not think was that great.
Right.
And Bill Belichick thought, he's going to be the next. Whoever.
Ezra, to add to that, and I now I see what you're saying, but I'll say this. Think about this. Remember in 2015, the rough start to the Patriots season that year? Boy, Brady had two rookie receivers that did not know what they were doing. The routes they were running routes that they weren't running, and Brady was getting pissed. And I understand.
Couldn't get open at all.
But at the same time,
he was yelling, "Get open!"
Right, but you're right, because if Rodgers is not being consulted about who they should be drafting, then I understand why he's pissed off. But at the same time, there's a better way to show your frustrations to the team instead of making these big headlines.
So even Aaron Rodgers said in press that he didn't want this whole situation to get out like it did. He didn't. I think while I don't being a Bears fan, I don't like Aaron Rodgers either. He's
I don't
killed
buy
our
that one
team.
single bit.
He's killed our team every year since he's been with the Packers.
I don't buy that one single bit. I understand what he's somewhat saying in a way, but at the same time, you should know whatever you say, somebody in the press is going to say something about that and put that a headline.
It just travels quick.
Aaron Rodgers tell his family for 30 cents. He don't even talk to his own mother. Nope. You think he care about the Packers? The Packers embarrassed Aaron Rodgers last year making that pick. They trade down to get Jordan Love. And Aaron said, okay. He waited to the draft day to embarrass the Packers, saying that he wanted out. You embarrass me, I'm going to embarrass you now. And that's what he did.
You know what? With this Rodgers situation, I'm telling you, it's a matter of time before it really explodes. Because I think eventually
it's going to get ugly.
It's going to get really ugly when he leaves. He will not play this year for Green Bay.
I believe he will play because
if he
will
does
lose the 35 million. It's 35 million.
If he does play this year, guarantee you it's his last season.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. I think he'll play this season, and it'll be his last if he does play.
As a Green Bay Packers will be his last season at least.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. That pretty much wraps up the show for tonight. We're gonna get into some final thoughts from everybody. Sam, first of all, want to say thank you for coming on the show tonight. Appreciate it, brother. Of course, stick with us through the end of the show, but thank you for subbing in for Kevin the Stat Man. You've done a hell of a job, man. Great discussion.
Hell of a job, brother.
Especially this last discussion, man. I loved it, man. I thought it was phenomenal.
Yes.
So definitely thank you. Any final thoughts coming from you, Sam?
No, first of all, thank you guys for inviting me. Like I really wanted to do the show for a while. I just been really busy. But if I'm available and you guys need me, I'm here. I love sports. Sports is my thing. I love baseball. I love football, basketball, and I. It's hard to me to find people that have the same passion as I do to talk sports. Uh, but like I enjoy this, and these 2 hours fly by. I can't
Yes.
believe it's 9 o'clock.
Flew by.
I have a great time talking to a smart people that know our sports. So I can't wait. If I for sure gonna be calling to the show next week, talk about results, what we thought to key ball, what we are standing, and it was a hell of a show. I really enjoyed it.
Definitely. We loved having you on, man. Steven, final thoughts from you, buddy.
Once again, phenomenal show this week, boys. And Sam, once again, like Ezra said, you did one hell of a job stepping into the big boy chair, subbing in, helping out with our stat man being down, not feeling well. Kevin, hope you get better. And we'll see you for next week, Kevin. And speaking of that, I had something I want to bring up to the Our Nation Sports Show audience is I got to thinking today about bringing on somebody to be a contributor to this show. And I messaged my friend, coincidentally, his name is also Kevin as well. And I have known this guy, Kevin Rory, for 17 years. He is a NFL diehard fan, big time NBA fan, and he's also a professional wrestling fan. And I mean, he loves sports. Me and him throughout the years have watched so many games. We haven't talked to each other in quite some time because he's been so busy with his kid and stuff. But man, I'm so excited to bring him on to the show next week and make his debut on the show because man, he loves his sports, man, and I'm really looking forward to not just one Kevin but two Kevins. So our stat man, he knows his stuff as well. He does a great job at what he does, providing the stats and talking sports, NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, all that good stuff. And I'm looking forward to bringing in on one of my good friends that I've known for 17 years, on and off for 17 years. We've watched wrestling together and went to SmackDown together in 2006. That was fun. We've been to several wrestling shows together. We've watched pay-per-views together growing up as kids, watched several NBA finals and Super Bowls in the NFL and all that good stuff. So yeah, looking forward to next week. And next week, the playoffs continue to rise as far as that pressure, man, because it keeps getting hot. And we'll see who will survive in the next couple of days. Can the Clippers wrap up their series with the Jazz? Can the Bucks force it to a game number 7? We shall see, because we got a hell of a show next week for everybody.
Absolutely.
Ezra, take us on, buddy.
Absolutely. As we all shut our cameras and everything off, this is it for us for tonight. We thank you guys for joining us. For Sam and Cleveland, for Stephen Wyand, for, of course, Kevin Stamman, who is not here tonight. Get well soon. I am Ezra Vickery, and we will see you next week for another great edition of Our Nation's Sports Show. See you all next week, everybody. Keep it rocking.